Hello everyone, how's your day? I hope you all are doing absolutely fine. Today we're diving into some fascinating stories from our slash relationships, our slash relationship advice, and our slash dating advice that will tug at your heartstrings and make you think. Let's get started with the first story. The first story is from our slash relationship advice.
I was uninvited from a wedding that I spent $500 to go. My boyfriend is a groomsman. Where do I go from here? I, 20F, was supposed to attend the wedding of my friend and boyfriend's 23M best friend in a few days. However, I just found out that I have been uninvited from the wedding entirely. The wedding is across the country, and the plane tickets for it were over $500 and non-refundable. My parents bought the tickets as my Christmas gift since I couldn't afford them, but it was a lot of money even for them. My boyfriend is a groomsman at this wedding to a guy who he's been best friends with, and we have been in a friend group with for years. When my boyfriend asked him what was happening, he said he didn't know they were going to run out of space, so they had to get rid of all the plus ones, and that I was never actually formally invited, but just as a plus one. On top of this, both of the people getting married unadded me on all social media. When my boyfriend asked why, he responded that I had disrespected my boyfriend a lot, disrespected his fiancée by talking crap about her to his groom's sister, and then also disrespected his sister. The conversation in which he's referring to was one his sister brought up to me, my boyfriend, and her roommate one day. Everything said was agreed on by everyone in the four-way conversation. Disrespecting his sister? I have no idea where this came from. For context, his sister liked my boyfriend and repeatedly for months this year flirted with and tried to get close to him in front of me. She started being a massive cold bitch to me out of nowhere, which I later learned was when he cut her off. As far as disrespecting my boyfriend goes, I am not perfect and have made mistakes. The thing he is talking of specifically was a TikTok I had posted about a celebrity guy being good looking even though people like to pretend he's not because of his personality, a conversation I had had with my boyfriend previously. I deleted the TikTok and apologized. However, my boyfriend acted single and flirted with groom's sister before I could get back to school, as my luggage was lost in another country for a few months at the beginning of last semester, coming off of a hard long-distance summer of not much communication and not seeing each other. I was out of the country for most of it. Nothing ever happened, and he never felt anything for her, but it messed me up for a long time. So all of this started from the sister lying to the groom. My boyfriend has said he will say something, but not because I want to. I'm doing it for you. That was pretty much my last straw, as I firmly believe my person would not only stand up for me, but fully take my side and not go to the wedding. I told my boyfriend this, and he said he can't just not go BC, he's a groomsman, but if we were engaged or married it would be different. We have been dating for over a year. My best friend, who knows all these people, and was also friends with all of them previous to all of this, is out of the country for a year, but I told her what happened. She is furious and unfollowed all of them, and thinks I even need to break up with my boyfriend. The issue is, the tickets for the wedding are also where my boyfriend's family lives, and I was going to stay and visit with them for a few days, and then he has tickets to come visit my family right after. I don't know what to do. I am beyond hurt. I am crushed and defeated. I wanted nothing more than to have a nice holiday with my family and the man I loved, but I don't know what to do anymore, and it has been destroying me. It is important to note that I love my boyfriend, and he loves me very much. Aside from his sleep schedule, our relationship is perfect, and he does a lot for me. He is very kind and non-confrontational, so this whole situation is driving him insane. I am not really sure what to do. Do I proceed forward and try and enjoy the holidays, not going to the wedding, or do I call everything off and waste all of the money? I am in a tough spot and unsure what to do. Edit to add. Here's some additional info since I have heard a lot of incorrect assumptions in the comments. My initial post was brief BC. I didn't want it to be too much info or long, but I'm now realizing that was a mistake. I think some clarification is needed in respect to the sister thing. We were a long distance over the summer when we were home from university. He lives nowhere near my sister. He was only at school 2 weeks before me, and at that time she was flirting with him, which he did not realize or shut down. Over the summer, I didn't communicate with him much because I had a lot of things happen in my life, including one of my best friends taking her own life. Because of this, I was very distant and cold and didn't even call him much. This left him worried I was going to break up with him due to how distant I was being. Not shutting the sister down to me was single behavior, and he apologized and made up for it and cut her off before I even brought anything up or asked, but he has been friends with her for a while, so it took him a while to notice. Nobody else knows about this, and my sister has since moved on to obsessing over like 10 different guys. She just holds a grudge and decided to slander my name. Additionally, we are all religious, and there would be no hooking up involved. The groom would also never want his sister to date my boyfriend as he lost his virginity to me, and that is highly looked down upon in religious circles, so the assumption they're trying to set them up isn't quite right. I only shared this info to explain what groom was talking about and why sister was salty. This was also all well before the TikTok fiasco in which the groom was the one who was super mad as my boyfriend doesn't even have TikTok and told my boyfriend to dump me over. As far as being uninvited, it was the groom's father who sent out the email uninviting all plus ones unbeknownst to the groom himself, and it was due to a large number of the bride's family being there in a small venue that wasn't planned for. And as far as the people saying, how can I say he loves me? I am disabled. I had a severe sports brain injury that put me in a coma, and I had to relearn how to walk. It has left me legally blind, and with some other things like an inability to read without technological assistance and no balance resulting in the fact I cannot drive or even ride a bike. My boyfriend takes very good care of me, but I cannot go into great detail about all of this. I just know that he has taken care of and done more for me than anyone else in my life aside from my parents and best friend. This friend getting married was a friend of both of ours until all of this happened and even introduced me and my boyfriend. All of this is extremely out of character and has left everyone shocked. Even the groom's cousin and best man is on my side. The bride herself is likely behind all of this, as she always would go out of her way to be a jerk to me and my best friend, although we were nothing but nice to her. Nobody likes the bride, including the groom's family. I hope this adds a little bit of context, and to the people saying they hate me because I seem to love drama, I hate the drama more than any of you. It came out of nowhere, and I am unsure of how to proceed, which is why I wrote in. I'm sorry if it's confusing, I cannot see to edit well, and am listening to everything.
Being uninvited from a wedding you spent $500 to attend is heartbreaking, and the added accusations and drama only make it worse. The bride and groom didn't just remove you due to space. They unadded you on social media and spread rumors, likely influenced by the groom's sister and the bride's hostility. Your boyfriend's non-confrontational nature isn't helping. While it's understandable that he feels obligated as a groomsman, his reluctance to firmly stand by you is disappointing. Relationships need mutual support, especially during tough times like this. You've already been through so much, and it's clear that this situation is weighing heavily on you. Take a step back, prioritize your emotional well-being, and consider whether this relationship dynamic aligns with what you deserve.
I and my boyfriend live in a house his mom rents to us. Should I be acting like a wife when we split everything 50-50? My BF of almost 2 years is gone a lot of the time for work, so I usually have a 3/2 house to myself. Our rent is very cheap, and he and I split all bills, so this is a very nice setup for me considering if I got a studio on my own, it would cost me at least twice as much. I always pay my share on time, every time, and I'll keep the house very clean. Sometimes he asks me to help cover his bills or small purchases, and he usually pays me back within a couple weeks. But sometimes he doesn't, and if I bring it up, he says he just forgot. When he comes home, he dirties up the house and leaves his things about. Wet towels, empty cans, beard hair in the sink. He eats everything in the kitchen. I literally have to hide things from him. He rarely washes the dishes or does his own laundry. He only has a motorcycle, so I frequently drive him around when he is in town and to and from his work. Frequently, these rides are on a moment's notice and 25+ minutes away. I feel like an idiot driving around, buying for, cooking for, and cleaning up after a man who is not my husband, all while we split the bills and I work 5 days a week. I feel like my life revolves around taking care of him and being available to him. Am I being taken advantage of, or am I being ungrateful like he says I am? How do I get him to see how I feel without coming across as being ungrateful? TLDR, should I be paying half the bills and doing the cleaning for a man who is only my boyfriend because it's his mom's house?
Living together while splitting bills is great, but it seems like you're doing much more than your fair share. You're cleaning, cooking, driving him around, and covering for him when needed, but he's not pulling his weight, leaving messes, forgetting to pay you back, and not doing his part around the house. You're not being ungrateful by wanting more balance. It's important to have an honest conversation about how you feel and set boundaries, so your relationship feels more like a partnership.
Embarrassed to date because of my job. So for some context, I'm a 26-yo straight guy and I work in early childhood care. While it's not the most well-paying job, the hours are very flexible. My job finishes at 3 p.m. and aside from that, I don't have to do any work outside of work. My true passion is literature. I'm a writer and I've had around 2 short stories in literary magazines published so far, but I've always been a lifelong reader. Though I only started writing 2 years ago while I was doing my traineeship, I can honestly say that literature is my life's purpose. At the moment I'm working on the novel I've always wanted to write deep down. So often I'm writing well into the evening after I get home. Then I usually go to the 24/7 gym around the corner from my house. While my job isn't the best paying, it got me out of my parents' house, and I enjoy the work well enough while I'm there. I have a good relationship with my co-workers who are thankful that the kids have a male role model who encourages them to read. However, a lot of women I go on dates with lose interest or get the ick when they find out about my job. I don't think it's my looks or anything like that, since I think I'm pretty average looking overall. I do know that women aren't as forgiving as men when it comes to the job we have though. That said, my current situation is what works best for me personally.
It's unfortunate that your job is turning people away, especially when it's a position that provides flexibility and allows you to pursue your true passion for literature. Early childhood care is a valuable and rewarding job, but it's disheartening that some people fail to see that, focusing instead on stereotypes or preconceived notions. It's important to remember that your job doesn't define your worth, and the right person will appreciate both the work you do and your passion for writing. Keep focusing on what makes you happy, your writing and your career, because you deserve someone who values you for who you are, not just what you do. That wraps up today's stories. We've seen how uninvited weddings can tear at your heart, how a relationship can feel unbalanced when you're giving more than you're getting, and how the right job for you doesn't always align with others' expectations. It's clear that respect and communication are key, whether it's with your partner or in pursuing your passions. Thank you for tuning in. If you've been in any of these situations or have thoughts to share, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Stay fine.